No one starts with perfect conditions asterisk before the spotlight, before the fame, before the trophies, the movie scripts, the governorship. There was a skinny boy in Austria, a boy with an accent too thick for Hollywood, a dream too big for his small village, and a reality too harsh for comfort. Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't start with millions. He didn't start with privilege. He didn't even start with approval. He started with nothing except a vision. You see, most people are waiting for the right time, waiting for motivation, waiting for support, waiting until their life is perfectly aligned, like the stars need to grant permission. But Arnold? He didn't wait. He decided. The worst thing I could be, he once said, is the same as everybody else. That quote wasn't ego. It was revelation, because deep inside he already knew you either make results or you make excuses. There is no third option. There is no middle ground. And there is no rescue team coming. Arnold's father was a strict, no-nonsense man. His family wasn't supportive of bodybuilding. They didn't understand it. To them, lifting weights was strange, almost foolish. But to Arnold, it was the beginning of everything. When he was just 15, he stepped into a gym. For the first time. He didn't speak the language of success yet, but his muscles, sore and trembling, started whispering it. He trained in silence. While others partied, he lifted. While others complained, he focused. While others waited, he worked. He would look at posters of Reg Park, Steve Reeves, and dream of becoming Mr. Olympia, not just once, but the greatest of all time. Do you know how crazy that sounded in a small post-war Austrian village? You, Mr. Olympia, Hollywood, get real. But he never flinched. He wrote his goals on the wall. He stared at them every morning. Because Arnold knew something most people still don't. If the plan doesn't scare you, it's not big enough. Excuses? He had them. No money, no support, thick accent, unfamiliar country, no connections. But here's the truth. Excuses are just stories you tell yourself to stay comfortable. And comfort is the enemy of growth. Arnold understood early that success doesn't care where you started, only where you're headed. There's a moment in every champion's life where they face the mirror and say, am I going to keep playing small, or am I going all in? He went all in. Every rep, every set, every day. For years. No camera, no praise, just pain and repetition. While others talked about what they were going to do, Arnold was doing it. He trained with a fire inside him that couldn't be put out, not by fatigue, not by critics, not even by failure, because every time his body said stop, his mind said, one more rep. That's the difference. Not genetics, not luck, but a refusal to quit, even when everything screams for you to stop. Imagine this. You're 19 years old. You barely speak English. You've left everything you've known, your home, your friends, your family, to chase a dream across an ocean. No guarantees, no roadmap. Just a belief so loud it drowns out the doubt. That's not motivation. That's mindset. And mindset wins when talent falls asleep. People said he was too muscular for movies. They said his accent was laughable. They said he'd never make it as an actor. But here's what he did. He listened. Then he worked. He didn't debate haters. He didn't cry about what if. He didn't make excuses. He made a plan. And then he executed. Excuses are easy. You can always find one. The weather, the timing, the people around you, the pain, the fear. But excuses never built a legacy. Excuses never created an icon. Excuses never made history. Work did. Arnold didn't rely on talent. He weaponized consistency. He used discipline as fuel. He didn't just want the dream. He became the type of person worthy of it. You can have results or you can have excuses, not both. That line didn't come from a motivational book. It came from a man who lived it, who failed, fell, bled, doubted, but never surrendered. The path to greatness is not paved with motivation. It's paved with sacrifice. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner your life will change. So, if you're waiting for things to get easier, if you're waiting for perfect conditions, if you're blaming time, money, age, background, or talent, ask yourself, what do I want more? Excuses? Or results? Because if a poor immigrant from a war-torn village could carve his name into history, if Arnold could rise from nothing to everything, then what's stopping you? Build the vision before you build the body, before the muscles grew, before the trophies stacked up. Before the world called him Mr. Universe, Arnold saw it. He saw it first, because here's the truth. The body follows the mind. The world follows the vision, and greatness? It starts in the dark, long before the spotlight finds you. He didn't wait to see the results. He believed in them before they existed. You have to see it in your mind before you ever see it in real life. That was his mantra. He didn't just lift weights. He lifted his future. He wasn't just flexing his muscles. He was flexing a vision of who he was becoming. Arnold's walls were covered in photos. Bodybuilders, champions, heroes. Each one was a reflection of where he was headed. Not where he was, but where he was going. That's what most people don't get. They look at what's around them instead of what's ahead of them. You can't build a mansion if you're staring at the dirt. You have to see the architecture in your soul. Then you move brick by brick. When Arnold trained, he didn't see a skinny kid with no name. He saw a future legend. A 7-time Mr. Olympia. A movie star. A self-made icon. Not because it was easy. Not because someone handed it to him, but because he imagined it and then committed to becoming it. That's power. That's the edge. Let's be honest. How many people dream of changing their life, but never define how that life looks? They say, I want to be successful, but what does that mean? How does it feel? What do your mornings look like? How do you walk, talk, train, eat, think? Vague dreams get vague results. Clear visions create explosive growth. Arnold didn't say, I want to be fit. He said, I'm going to be the greatest bodybuilder who ever lived. Then he trained like it, ate like it, spoke like it, moved like it. Clarity creates conviction. Conviction creates consistency. And consistency? That's how you break limits. Arnold tells a story. In Austria, he would close his eyes and see himself in America. The sun, the palm trees, the gym, the success. He imagined it so vividly that when he finally arrived, it felt like he'd already lived it. That's not delusion. That's vision-based living. That's intentional manifestation through work. He used his imagination as a weapon. While most people used it to fear failure, he used it to build a future that didn't yet exist. That's the mindset of champions. They don't wait for permission. They visualize. They plan. They attack. What you think, you become. It's not just a quote. It's a lifestyle. Arnold thought like a winner long before he became one. He visualized his routines. He imagined winning the Olympia. He rehearsed his movie scenes before he even had an acting job. He was living the dream before the world caught up. Most people don't fail from lack of effort. They fail from lack of direction. They're working hard, but towards nothing specific. They're sprinting, but in circles. Arnold didn't have time to run in circles. Every set, every rep, every breath, it moved him toward his vision. That's the secret. Not hustle alone, but hustle aligned with vision. When you train without vision, it's just effort. But when you train with a crystal clear outcome in mind, it becomes destiny. Let that sink in. You want to build a better life? You want to transform your body, your bank account, your business? Here's your first job. Build a blueprint in your mind. Down to the smell. Down to the sound. Down to how it feels waking up as that version of you. Live it now, in thought, so that you can live it later. In reality. Arnold was already Mr. Olympia. Long before the judges gave him the trophy, he carried himself that way. He walked like it. He trained like it. And the universe simply responded, because the world doesn't believe in you until you do. People laughed at his goals. They mocked his dreams, but Arnold never argued. He just kept showing up, again and again. And again, that's what separates the 1% from the crowd. They don't need approval to move. They move until they become undeniable. So what about you? Can you see the person you're becoming? Can you feel it in your bones? Are you training for something? Or just working out aimlessly? Are you living with a fire? Or just going through motions? You've got two choices. Let life happen to you. Or build it. Vision-first. Arnold chose to build it. Brick by brick. Rep by rep. With intention. With hunger. With a blueprint no one else could see until it was too big to ignore. So the next time you feel stuck. Before you blame motivation, before you blame genetics, before you blame the world, ask yourself, have I built the vision? Or am I still waiting for it to show up? Because success doesn't just show up. You design it, you build it, then you become it. The price of winning is pain. Everyone wants to win, but almost no one is willing to pay for it. Not in pain, not in sacrifice, not in sleepless nights or early mornings. But here's the iron truth. Winning has a price, and that price is pain. Not the kind of pain that wounds you, the kind of pain that builds you. Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't stumble into greatness. He suffered his way there. Day in, day out, for years. There are no shortcuts, he said. Everything is reps, reps, reps. And that's not just about weights. That's about life. Every dream has a cost. And if you're not willing to pay in pain, you'll never cash in on results. People want the glory, but not the grind. They want the muscles, but not the soreness. They want the success, but not the sacrifices. But Arnold knew, when the pain comes, it's not punishment, it's confirmation. It means you're in the right zone. At 4 a.m., while the rest of the world was asleep, Arnold was already in the gym. His body screaming, his back aching, his lungs burning. But he never negotiated with pain. Because in his world, pain was the currency of greatness. He didn't run from it. He earned it. People asked him, how do you stay so motivated? But he wasn't. He wasn't motivated, he was disciplined. That's the key. Motivation is a wave. Discipline is a weapon. You don't show up only when you feel like it. You show up until your results can't be denied. The pain you feel today, he once said, is the strength you'll feel tomorrow. Think about that. The soreness in your muscles. That's growth. The silence when no one believes in you. That's self-trust. The discomfort of hard choices. That's clarity in disguise. Pain isn't your enemy, it's your proof. Your teacher. Your ticket. In his prime, Arnold trained twice a day. He consumed over 5,000 calories. He tracked every rep, every pound, every step of progress. And even then, he knew he was only halfway there, because the real war, it wasn't in the gym, it was in his mind. Your mind will quit 1,000 times before your body ever does. And that's what separates winners from quitters. Winners go beyond the threshold of comfort. They live in the uncomfortable zone because they know, if it's not hard, it's not changing you. Arnold didn't listen to his feelings. He listened to his goals. He knew that your body will scream stop, But your purpose whispers keep going. He didn't care how he felt. He cared about what he was becoming. That's discipline. That's war mentality. That's relentless. Let's be real. You say you want change. You say you want to win. You say you want to be the best. But are you willing to feel the burn? To grind when no one's watching? To suffer through doubt, failure, and fatigue without tapping out? Arnold was. He trained through injury. He trained when he was broke. He trained when people laughed at him. He trained when Hollywood told him, "You'll never make it." And that pain, that rejection, that discomfort, that's what built him. You either get results or you get excuses. You don't get both. Excuses are easy. Excuses are cheap. Excuses are comfortable. But results? Results are earned. With blood. With tears. With time. Arnold turned pain into purpose. Every setback was a stepping stone. Every failure was a lesson. Every critic became a distant echo behind his triumph. You want muscles? Lift heavy. You want results? Work harder. You want success? Then make peace with pain, because pain is part of the process. And most people will never get what they want because they're running from the one thing that guarantees it. Call on discomfort. Discipline isn't sexy. No one applauds you at 5 a.m. No one claps when you say no to comfort. No one celebrates when you suffer in silence. But your future self? He will. She will. They'll look back at this version of you and say, "Thank you for not quitting. Thank you for going through the fire." Arnold's secret wasn't genetics. It wasn't fame. It wasn't magic. It was this. He paid the price. And if you want what he built, you've got to pay it too. No more, "I'll start Monday." No more, "I'm too tired." No more, "I'm not ready." You're ready the moment you refuse to be average. So the next time you feel pain, don't quit. Don't stop. Don't make excuses. Smile. Because it means you're finally doing it right. Dominate in silence. Let results speak. The loudest person in the room is usually the weakest. The strongest warriors don't shout. They grind in silence. They let their results do all the talking. And Arnold? He mastered this, while others posted. He trained, while others bragged. He built, while others begged for validation. He vanished into his routine, because he understood a secret that most people still ignore. They can't stop what they can't see coming. He was never interested in being loud. He was interested in being undeniable. In his early days, nobody believed in him. They laughed at his name, mocked his accent, called him too big, too foreign, too much. But Arnold didn't fire back. He didn't argue. He just kept showing up, day after day. While the world talked, he worked. While the critics laughed, he built armor with every rep. And then one day, they stopped laughing, because you can't argue with results. That's the code. Say nothing. Work more. When louder. He didn't need to flex online. He flexed in the mirror. He didn't talk about being hungry. He just ate. He didn't post grind mode activated. He lived it. No hashtags. No filters. Just focused. The internet is loud. Everybody's trying to prove something. But Arnold didn't need approval. He wasn't chasing claps. He was chasing championships. Champions don't post proof. They become proof. If you walked into Gold's Gym in Venice Beach in the 70s, you'd see Arnold in the corner, not smiling, not talking, just focused, locked in. Lost in the war between the barbell and his destiny. He trained with beasts, legends. And even then, he didn't get distracted, because while others were training their bodies, Arnold was training his mindset. That's what made him different. He didn't care how loud you were. He cared how long you could last. This world wants instant fame. Arnold wanted TIMELESS. So he worked in silence. For years, until his results became too loud to ignore. Let your hustle whisper and your success scream. That was his lifestyle. And if you're serious about your dreams, you've got to adopt that same code. Stop telling people what you're going to do. Stop broadcasting your every move. Stop explaining your process. Just execute. You don't need a witness. You need a routine. You don't need an audience. You need discipline. Arnold didn't need to convince anyone. He knew that the day he stepped on stage, the day the lights hit him, the day the world saw the sculpted, chiseled, legendary physique, they would understand, because results speak a language that no excuse can argue with. He had tunnel vision, no distractions, no ego. He wasn't competing with anyone else. He was competing with his last version. Every day was a question. Am I better than yesterday? And if the answer wasn't yes, he went again, even when he became famous. Even when he was filming movies, leading in politics, running businesses. He never lost the silent killer mentality, because that's what built everything. Not noise, not luck, not talking. Just work. You want to become a legend? Here's how. Get quiet. Get focused. Stop chasing credit. Start chasing craft. Because the real ones, they don't post it. They live it. Look around. Everyone is addicted to attention, but attention doesn't build legacies. Work does. Arnold's life was a symphony of silent discipline, a quiet storm. And then one day, the world had no choice but to listen, not because he told them who he was, but because he showed them. And here's the truth. You don't become unstoppable by being seen. You become unstoppable by becoming so excellent they can't deny you. You don't need to announce your comeback. You don't need to scream your ambition. You need to live it. In silence, with obsession, with repetition, with relentless faith that your time will come, because you earned it. Arnold did not beg for respect. He became so consistent, so skilled, so elite, that respect showed up with its head down. And that's your move now. Shut out the noise. Close your mouth. Open your calendar and put in the work, because when you finally arrive, when you're holding the win, when the spotlight hits ... you won't have to say a word. Your results will say it for you. From the gym to the governor's office *, what happens when the muscles fade? When the trophies collect dust? When the crowd moves on? What happens when you've already become the best? But your hunger won't die? Most people stop when they reach one mountaintop. Arnold? He just found a higher one. He had already conquered bodybuilding. He had already rewritten the definition of strength. But he wasn't finished. Because purpose doesn't retire. He had one of the most famous bodies in the world. Now he set his sights on building something bigger than himself. Hollywood said no. You'll never be a star. Your accent is too thick. Your name is unpronounceable. Your body is too cartoonish. Sound familiar? That's how every new level begins. With rejection. With resistance. With ridicule. But he'd heard it all before. He didn't waste energy explaining. He simply did what he'd always done. He got to work. Script by script. Audition by audition. Scene by scene, he carved out his place. He didn't try to become another actor. He became an entirely new category. He wasn't next. He was the first . And when he finally exploded on screen with that Terminator stare, that raw intensity, that unmatched physical presence, he shut the industry up, because you can't argue with impact. But even that wasn't enough . Most people would stop there. Hollywood fame, global recognition, box office records . But Arnold saw another mountain . This time. The challenge wasn't lifting iron or delivering lines. It was serving people, leading, becoming useful on a new battlefield . Politics . Once again, the critics laughed. They mocked his past. Mr. Universe? In office? What a joke. But again, he silenced them with discipline. With results. He didn't walk into politics asking for power. He walked in with a mission to give, to lead, to build. And soon, the immigrant kid with a dream became the governor of California. Think about that. Let it settle in. A boy who started with nothing, no English, no money, no fame, rose from the gym floor to Hollywood stages to the highest political office in the most powerful state in America. That's not luck. That's not chance. That's the compound effect of relentless discipline. That's refusing to accept limits. That's what happens when your purpose grows bigger than your pain. Arnold's life isn't a movie. It's a manual. A roadmap from nothing to everything. And now, the torch is in your hands, because everything you've heard in this story, the struggle, the silence, the setbacks, the success, it's not just his story. It can be yours, but only if you're willing to play by the same rules. No shortcuts, no excuses. No blame. Just vision, work, execution, and a refusal to break. Here's the final truth. Excuses are the language of the average. Results are the voice of the relentless. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be born with it. You don't need applause or permission or guarantees. You just need to start, to build the vision, to endure the pain, to grind in silence, to finish what you begin. Arnold said it best. Be hungry, be useful, be relentless. You already have what it takes. But the question is, will you pay the price? Or will you hide behind excuses? You can't have both. You can either be remembered or be comfortable. You can either chase results or stay buried under excuses. But if you want to rise, if you want to win, if you want to become undeniable, then do what Arnold did. Choose results. Every time. No matter what.